When you include happiness as a factor in your fitness, it will make you rethink everything. So in this episode, I'm going to go over what happiness is, how I'm defining it, what are some signs that happiness is not a part of your health and fitness, and some ways that you can start including happiness in your fitness routine. So, first of all, what do I mean? Happiness is the third pillar of the 4-H method. We start with hope, then it's habits, then it's happiness and health. And I put it before health because if you are not happy, as I define it, and I will go into it, then you cannot be healthy. And happiness is a sense of overall well-being. We can also use the term holistic. So it's not just about how you look or what targets you're hitting, but your whole self. So that can be enjoyment in your fitness routine. It feels good for you, the way that you're eating, the way that you're moving and sleeping, resting, taking care of yourself. You have actual genuine enjoyment in it. That's a part of happiness, and you feel empowered in it. It's not putting you down, it's supporting you and lifting you up. So that is how I'm defining happiness, enjoyment and empowerment. And I learned this the hard way because, as I've shared, in my past, I was doing all the right things. Everyone said how healthy I was. I was admired for how disciplined I was with my exercise, with my eating, how clean I ate. I was admired for my body shape and size, especially when I initially lost weight, around the time my eating disorder started. But when I think about that time, I was miserable on the inside. Everything was about control. Everything was about getting it right. And of course, I was dealing with a serious mental health issue, but I see this in other differing degrees. When we're talking about fitness, a lot of the times we focus on what needs to get done or hitting a goal without considering our whole selves. This is a funny example, but I was watching K-pop Demon Hunters last night upon the recommendation of a friend, and I really liked it. And she goes to the honey one, the doctor, and he says, we cannot look at the part without looking at the whole. And so that's what we're talking about here, the holistic self. So what are some signs that happiness is not a part of your fitness routine, or some signs that you may be sacrificing your enjoyment and empowerment for the sake of hitting a goal, okay? For the sake of quote unquote health, even though it is not entirely healthy. Number one, I'm going to give you 3 things. Number one, it feels like you can't say no. So if in your fitness, you feel like you have to do certain things in order to feel okay, and it's almost like something is obliging you to it. You might even call it discipline. It might even feel good after you do it temporarily, but then it pops up again, or there's something else that you need to do. Say, for example, you feel like you need to run a certain amount of miles every week. And if you don't hit those miles, you don't feel good about yourself. Or if you're feeling really tired, you still feel like you need to stick to your workout routine. Or maybe even taking this a step further, you feel like you can't say no without guilt. So even if you do say no, you have an immense amount of guilt. You still feel compelled to do that. And if this is something that interests you, I invite you to check out my free masterclass. It's in the link in the show notes. It's going to be super eye-opening for you in a very comprehensive way. Another thing that you can check out is my episode, Why Consent Might Be the Only Thing That Matters for Your Fitness. It's a little bit older, but it's worth listening to. If you feel like you can't say no, then it is compulsion and it is not choice. A part of empowerment in your Fitness and your health is the ability to choose. And of course you can choose, but if you feel like you can't, or something bad will happen if you say no, even dealing with food, like if you feel like you can't eat certain things, or you have rules in your mind around how you need to eat, and even if you don't follow your rules, or maybe you break them periodically, you feel guilt, that is not true enjoyment and empowerment and happiness in your health. Number two, another sign that happiness might not be a part of your routine, your fitness and health, is the goal is more important than the process. And you might think, oh yeah, but Michelle, isn't fitness all about goals like hitting PRs, getting a certain pace, or being able to lift a certain amount, or reaching a certain body fat percentage, or gaining some type of muscle in some measurable way? And while that's not in itself harmful, if the goal becomes more important than the process and your well-being along with it, then happiness is not a part of your fitness routine, and you are robbing yourself of some enjoyment and empowerment that you could be giving yourself. So we can take the opposite and apply it to happiness in your fitness. The process needs to be valued. The process needs to be just as important as, if not more important than, the goal. Something that I like to say is, it's not just what you're doing, but why you're doing it and how. That's even more important than what you're doing when it comes to your health and fitness. And then number three, and I could probably list so much more, but I'm just including these three. Number three, a sign that happiness is not a part of your fitness, is that fitness, or the pursuit of fitness, becomes your whole life and identity. And I'm not just saying fitness, but I'm saying the pursuit of fitness. It might even be the pursuit of weight loss that consumes your brain every day, morning, afternoon, evening. You're constantly thinking about what to eat, or what you can do to exercise to reach a specific goal. Or maybe you don't have much of a life outside of fitness and health related things. And of course, studies show that communal exercise and movement is so beneficial to us as human beings. And I'm not dissing that, but if you don't have a life or interests or hobbies or enjoyment outside of things that are related to food and exercise, or even things related to your body in an external appearance-based way, then that's a big sign that happiness is not a part of your fitness. And while, yes, it might be enjoyable and that can be an asset or an aspect of your identity, if it's everything, it could be taking over your spirit and who you are. And there is so much more to you than just how much you run or what you eat. And I know I'm making that simplistic, but there is so much more to you, and there's so much more to explore. I know for myself, for so much of my life, I couldn't think of many things that made me happy beyond movement, like exercise and food, and things related to that. And the more that I've expanded my interests and let myself let go of those things and found my identity beyond those things, the more rich and full my life has been, and the more actually empowering and enjoyable fitness is, because it has a proper place in my life. So happiness related to enjoyment and empowerment. I've said this so many times, and I'm repeating things for a reason so that it gets inside your head. And three signs that happiness might not be a part of your fitness. I'm going to give you some tips on how to incorporate more happiness into your fitness routine. And again, this is part 3 of the 4-H method. We go into this in depth, so I'm just doing a quick overview. If you'd like to incorporate more of this into your life, come join us in the 4-H method. It's the best fitness and health program, holistic approach to fitness and your body, making your body your home, and your health your own unique hero journey. I'm going to give you just three things here. Again, three things. I did follow this formula in the last episode as well with habits. And if you are taking note of the episodes, I started with hope a few weeks ago, went into habits, and now we're doing happiness. So you have to take your whole self into account, number one. And I've hit on this, but we have multiple aspects to who we are. We are social beings connected with other humans. We have an environmental aspect to us where we are connected with our environment, where we live, the air, the culture. We are existential or spiritual beings. Some people would say we're human bodies with a spirit, or some people would say we're spirits with human bodies, however you see it. We have the physical aspect, which most fitness and health is connected to. We have the mental aspect, and we have our emotional aspect. And the thing is, you can't separate any of these things and say this is isolated here and this is just one thing. It is all intrinsically related, and that's the whole idea of holistic health, is you cannot focus on your mental health without improving in some way your social health and improving your relationships. If your physical health suffers, it's possible that it will affect your emotional health as well. So that is why when we are looking to improve our health or make changes, we cannot only focus on the physical. So you have to take your whole self into account. You might even think right now, if you were to look at these different areas in your life on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing? How are you feeling? And this is something that we do in the 4-H method regularly, but just to ask you right here, right now, how are you doing? How would you rank your health or your well-being, or how good you feel in these different areas of your life? And that could give you a clearer picture of what might need some support. Maybe for you, you're really on point with your physical health, like workout routine, food, you know what to eat, you feel good about it, and maybe your mental health is suffering, or it could be the other way around. So to take that further, number 2, if you want to include more happiness in your fitness routine, we have to go beyond exercise and food. So when we go into a health program, or when we say, I want to start being more healthy, usually what we think of first is I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to start working out more, I'm going to change my diet. You might even focus a little bit on stress management or sleep, and we focus on those things as the most important. Like if you think of fitness, you think exercise and food, right? But we have to focus on other habits of well-being. And last week, the episode was all about habits and why they're helpful and how you can incorporate better ones. Habits like gratitude, habits around reflection on your days and your tomorrows, habits around checking in with yourself and where you are in comparison to the week before and the week ahead of you, and how you want to grow, and how you're doing in your different relationships, how you're doing in your mental state, all these things, habits of well-being that go beyond exercise and food. And this might include some presence, mindfulness practices, which isn't a big umbrella term, but we could go into so much depth into that. It might be improving your relationships. It might be shifting your mindset, maybe doing therapy, all of these things. And then number 3, if you want to include more happiness in your fitness routine and rethink everything, get clear on your desires and your values. And especially desires, I don't hear that as much with fitness beyond I want a 6-pack, or I want to lose weight, or I want to I want to have better health markers at the doctor's. But deep desires. What do you really, really, really deeply want for your life? What is so important to you? Getting clear on that and incorporating that into your fitness and health brings so much depth and meaning and enjoyment and empowerment. Same with your values. How do you show up in the world? What is important to you? How do you want to spend your life? How do you want to be remembered at the end of your life? All of these things are so important if you want to include that happiness, enjoyment, and empowerment in your fitness and health routine. And if you would like some more support on this, I invite you to, again, join the 4-H method. Hope, habits, happiness, health, all of these things are included. And I've gotten feedback from clients around how really focusing on your whole self when it comes to health has helped them have so much more meaning and joy in their lives. And it's so simple. I'm not talking about complex habits and practices that take hours and that are so difficult to do, but practices and habits that enhance your life. And they're just small things that make a huge difference. So if you are not including happiness in your fitness routine and your health in the way that you exercise and eat, I hope that this has challenged you. I hope that this has invited you to open yourself to more joy. So I'm going to talk a little bit from my heart here. We deserve joy, and it is something that we can choose in our lives, and not just in like a flash of the moment thing, but in building structures and making choices and choosing relationships and opening ourselves up to experiencing it, because you are worthy, you are deserving of all good things, and you have the power to create it in your life. You are worthy, and you are powerful, and you are loved.